Oh.
Hello everybody and welcome to another horrific review. Flea and I are back as we continue our look into horror anime with This Monster Wants to Eat Me, created by Sai Nakawa. A suicidal girl agrees to be eaten by a mermaid, so the mermaid herself agrees to take care of her and protect her until it's time to eat. After watching this section, I believe that's a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
That's metaphor heavy, you know. Sorry about the late start, folks. Computer's going wobble, and yeah, I was crying for a bit there, like genuine tears because it's annoying.
So I'm enjoying a cup of
Yes,
tea.
fair play. Yeah. So last 7 episodes.
Good stuff.
It's not very fast paced. Like there's not like tons of stuff. What we're used to is like 22 minutes being absolutely crammed with plot points. It's quite a steady, easy, like blissful pace, isn't it?
It is. It's a very slow story. It's all about deciding who the real monster is.
Mm-hmm. Or is there a real monster?
There are 3 monsters.
Is the monster just life itself? And the random nature
See,
of it?
that's one of the questions. What is a monster?
Mm-hmm. But we pick up where we left off last time. We have the whole horde of hands reaching out of the sea. And Shuri is basically trying to hide Hanako from it. Like, nope, not to see here. Keep walking. Move along, move along.
Don't need to look at those. They're just people who died at sea. There's no chance whatsoever that your family is going to be in there with them. Nope. None whatsoever. Keep walking.
Which is the worst thing to say to Hanako. Because that's instantly in her head now. The wee girl's messed up. Like, the wee girl is... There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it.
Yeah, that's just it. You've got you've got Hinako, who, because of what's happened to her, has lost her humanity. You've got Shuri, who's never had any humanity from the beginning because she's a pure-blooded monster.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Miko, who has had humanity forced upon her.
But
in the future episode, we meet Ayane.
Yeah, that was an interesting character. Actually, it's in this episode. But yeah, we just see all this sea of hands, and it turns out they're not quite yokai. They're not quite ghosts either. They're just trapped spirits who have died at sea and basically feel they've been unjustly served.
It's all very Buddhist. It's like because they died at sea, they weren't given last rites, so they're trapped between worlds, as it is.
Oh, do the Buddhists do the last rites thing as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what the entire funeral is about. But you see,
you know, Catholics they do it at the moment of death or whatever before they die.
It has to be done before the burial, but because they've neither received rites nor been given a proper burial, they can't move on.
Fair enough. So basically,
still monsters. They're just not your type.
Yeah, and they're not even like UK proper. It's almost like do you know Beetlejuice, the Lost Souls bit, that chamber where basically all the like purgatory and Catholic stuff. They're just trapped. through no fault of their own, just circumstances, which is kind of the theme for this series, isn't it? It's dealing with the chaos of the universe and grief, and like it's still very deep. It's a deep emotional lesbian-tastic story with random guts and gore. I think that's
Lesbian-tastic.
really is like it's all the way through. It's like it starts to rain, and of course, Shuri's like, "You're cold, so take your clothes off." Like we've all tried that one, haven't we?
Cool. Yeah. But why would you want to wear cold, wet clothes? I mean, being cold is one thing. Pneumonia and hypothermia, totally something else.
Yeah, I think even that wet clothes offer a little bit of protection when you're actually out in the rain.
Yeah, but surely something like that would be said by something who actually loves you, not some monster.
And then this is the bit where Hinako reveals her scars, because she's super defensive, but that's the bit where Shuri sees how badly burned, she was from the accident.
Mm.
God, I've had friends back in the day, with permanent scars like down their necks and all, just from like cups of tea spilling on them as babies.
Oh God, yeah, boiling water, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So you can imagine like an actual inferno, and just surviving it.
But I say, but was that from the fire or was it from the crash? Because it never actually explains where her scars are from.
They sort of go roundabout as we go deeper into this series. We'll get things revealed. She was in the burning car. So that's, I mean, they're burns. They're not.
Mm.
It's not anything else. But this is like her permanent reminder of the tragedy on top of everything else. And also, which kind of shows why she can't move on as well, because self-conscious, because at the end, I mean, kids are cruel. She's still only a kid. So, of course, things like these are magnetized 1,000-fold.
Mm.
And yeah, it's helped her, not helped her, but contributed to her putting up that barrier. And the only person that's been able to get through it is Mika up to this point.
Ooh, do you think so?
Well, up to this until Shuri arrived, yeah.
Mm. But it's like
Mika is effectively Hinako's only companion. Like she's aware of.
Miko is the one who's dragging Hinako through life.
Yeah,
even though Hinako doesn't want to be dragged through life.
Yeah.
The only thing that keeps Hinako alive is the promise she made to her parents when she heard their voices before they died, telling her to live and be happy.
She reminds me of Mariko from Shogun.
Mm.
She keeps asking Toranaga to let her commit seppuku, and he refuses. But her only purpose in life is to end it because of her shame. This is it, except Hinako, it's because of her grief and that her one desires to join the rest of her family because, as we find out, they were at the peak of their happiness. You know what I mean? They basically had the perfect weekend, the perfect day. As far as the child was concerned, everything couldn't get better.
More of this later. But yeah, that's just it. She was the happiest she's ever been, and the happiness was like stripped away from her by a traffic accident.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like she's trying to live, which is what she believes her parents wanted.
Which is important because that comes back later as well.
It's the sole reason she's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't for the fact that her parents want her to live, it'd be quite easy just to like throw herself in the ocean.
But logically, they would want her to live. They wouldn't want her, especially the way the family is. We see glimpses of the family throughout this, and the way they are, they would want her to live and to get closure and try and live a life. They'd probably despairing seeing her the way she is. But we don't get, that's something that we don't get in this season. We don't get that closure. So there's no.
No, personally, I don't think there's going to be a second season.
I don't think there needs to be.
I'd love there to be a second. I'd love there to be a second season, but I don't think there will be.
It doesn't come across. It's a bit like Rin, Daughters of Nimison. Like, yeah, I'd love to spend more time with those characters, but like you pointed out, what purpose would it serve? It would only detract from the series.
I know, but it's like the thing is, it's like at the end of Rin, there is hard closure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a full stop. It's like you turn the final page of the book, and that's it. Rin Daughters of Nemison is finished.
The end.
It's like The Monster Wants to Eat Me is an ongoing series, but I honestly don't think that unless something major happens in the story, I don't think there's a lot that can be told, because it literally, the story just repeats itself.
Mm-hmm. It's more like a look at life. Excuse me.
It is. It's all about Hinako. It's all about Hinako finding happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do believe that the author, the writer of the story, has said the story will end when Shuri dies. Whether that means she's going to die of old age, or she's actually going to find happiness and not Shuri, Hinako. Whether she finds happiness and Shuri actually turns around and kills her, we don't know.
Well, this is what they play with these episodes, isn't it? The whole idea. Because even now, you see there's something going on, like there's a connection there, but even Shuri tries to play it off as she's just worried about the meat. But we know it's not true.
I've got to be honest, I do like the fact that she's more worried about the meat than she is the person.
No, but it becomes obvious she's not. It's a ploy. It's a deflection technique. People who don't want to let themselves become vulnerable do that. I'm only in it for myself. If that makes sense. No?
I'm thinking it through.
No, it stops being about the actual devouring of Hinako. You know what I mean? It's it becomes something else, something more. And it's just a case of, that's Shuri's way to deflect. Oh yeah, people are afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
So they try to pass it off. Oh, no big deal. But deep inside, that's not the way they feel. Oh. Hi, Luna. Great to see you. We will be on Delight and Fright this Wednesday. So check us out there. I'll be sharing the link in our social media, so keep an eye out. We're guests. Chris and I are guests. We're going to have to behave ourselves.
Yes. Well, hang on. When have you ever behaved yourself?
I try sometimes. I think that's all I can promise is that I'll try. But yeah, this every time they reach a moment, Shuri pulls back and she tries to make a flippant remark. And it becomes apparent why when we get the reveal, the history. Well, hey.
What?
We can manage that too. But yeah, obviously the rain finishes. They're back in school next day, and this is where Mika gets kind of go to the basketball weekend, which is
Shuri along as well, of course.
Because why shouldn't she go? But that's the running joke, isn't it? Like every time. It's funny how that dynamic even changes. Do you know what I mean? Mika's jealous, doesn't trust Shuri, and Shuri's always going to turn up.
Hmm.
But I'm also like, who the hell in the right mind wants to spend a whole weekend playing basketball?
Depends on what you like. Basketball,
In terms of boring sports, that's right up there next to golf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Although, God, I remember being dragged to an American football match. Oh my God, I was asleep.
It's basically just rugby with padding.
That's
The players
not even
are scared of
proper.
getting hurt.
There's no scrums, rucks, or mulls. And what I was told as well, it was called the
Oh,
Holy
don't
War.
let me put my padding on. You know, yeah.
Right.
I'm not.
But I was
I'm not.
told-
See, if I had a choice between like football, rugby, American football, or Australian rules football, I think I'd probably go for Australian rules football because it's the only sport I know where you're allowed to climb up your opponent's back to get hold of the ball.
Well, they used to be able to do that in Union, but then the wimpy rules. No, well, I played rugby till I was 37, so that's why I'm broken now. Completely smashed. It was actually after everything, despite being knocked in the head multiple times, it was my legs, man. That was the funny thing. But yeah, basketball weekend, we just go with it because the curling weekend would be more fun actually.
Curling! Oh my god!
Have you seen the Olympics? They get proper mad at that.
Oh my god! It's like what?
They're about to get into fights and all over it. It was absolutely mental.
It's like all sports. It's become too competitive. People actually think it means something. Congratulations, you've put an inflated pig's bladder being a goalpost. Well done. Like sports like any kind of hobby. They're supposed to be fun. If you add competitiveness to it, take all the fun out of it. Because then it becomes about winning and not just having a good time.
Well, I don't know, because
Life's too short.
We celebrated scoring a try. I think we won like 2 matches a season. We were terrible. But
yeah, but did you have fun doing it?
Oh, absolutely. I used to get that.
It's the important bit.
That was it. You know, God, I remember the first time, the last team I played for. God, sorry, tangent, folks. Whoop, warning.
What do you mean tangent? This is what we normally do. I mean, this is.
What was it? I was invited to do a team, and I hadn't played in a couple of years. I'd sort of been busy with other things, so I hadn't played. So I was like, "Oh, you can come on as a sub." And then it was like, "Oh, what positions did you play?" Right, it was normally number 3, loose head prop. So you're a forward. Oh, cool. Yeah, you have to come at least be a sub anyway, because you never know. 7 minutes into the first game, I'm on the pitch. You know what I mean? As the other forwards carted off.
Yeah.
Oh well, here we go. Both. And club rugby.
Watch out for the guy there, bloke the size of a walk-in freezer. It's like he's very quick on his feet.
Yeah, what's funny is I'm a wee fella. I mean, I'm
only
5'6", and I'm like
playing rugby at school was when I discovered that I could run really quickly.
But yeah, I was never a spectator anyway. I hate watching sports. Rather do something.
No, I'm no good. I've got to be honest. I'm no good at watching sports unless it's horse racing. I quite like horse racing.
Even though I can't think of one. I can't stand boxing because they're all absolute knuckle draggers. You listen to them speak and you're like, nah, I'm out. Don't care. I don't even care who wins. I just want the stadium to fall on top of them so they don't talk anymore. Yeah,
it doesn't matter who wins. Oh, wait, it doesn't matter who wins. You just want to watch 2 meatheads beating the living shit out of each other.
No, but when you listen to them talk, like you want it to be Thunderdome.
Yeah, but the days of proper boxing where people were being carted out of the ring because they'd been hit in the wrong part of the head and were now the rest of their life was ruined because of severe brain damage have gone.
Oh yeah.
Like, do you remember the good old days of boxing when it was people like, I don't know, Henry Cooper?
Who do you call him? The one that started kicking the shit out of somebody because it tried a cheap shot. The governor. Who do you call him?
Oh
Terry Hatton.
God,
Hatton, wasn't it? Terry
yes,
Hatton.
yes.
Yeah, you know, that was like proper. You know, he tried a cheap shot, so he just started wailing. Everyone's having to jump in and pull them apart. And he's just
He did
booting them in the head.
like respect to the referee for getting in between them, because I remember the referee not being a big bloke.
Mm-hmm.
The glory days of sport.
But anyway, you notice
This is
that.
probably what the girls talk about while they're on the way to school.
No, but I'm just saying, none of this have we talked about basketball. Because no, every sport you can think of has something exciting going on. Not basketball. Of all the fucking sports to
Right,
pick.
yeah, but it's exotic because think about it, yeah? Right. Have you seen, because I honestly off the top of my head can't remember, any boys at the school that Miko, Shiori, and Hinako go to?
Is it not a girls' school?
Was it a girl? That's it. I can't remember seeing any boys. So if you think about it, girls don't play basketball. Girls play netball. It's the same way as girls don't play baseball. Girls play softball. So maybe baseball is just like really exciting. Oh, not baseball. Basketball is a really exciting, really exotic sport for them.
Hmm. Or I don't know. Like I said, nothing we've talked about has anything to do with basketball. I've never went, "Ooh, that was exciting," because
Mm,
nah.
good stuff. But yeah, so it's like two of the people can't go because they've got previous arrangements. We need two people to help out with the basketball training camp, which is like literally. Which is like if it's the training camps that I'm thinking of is literally a fortnight away from home.
Mm-hmm. And you've no experience in the game, but you're going to help out.
Yeah, and it's like being you two are the only two friends I can ask. So it's like Hinako, Shari, even though I hate you and keep calling you fish stick or something like that.
Fish girl.
Will you come and help me? Of course they say yes.
Well, of course, or the episode wouldn't happen. But yeah, they go to the weekend. This is obviously the first. Everything goes as standard, except until it comes that night where the baths, obviously, they prepared the baths for the girls, and this is where we see that Tentacle refuses. You know, she doesn't do the pool, she doesn't do the baths, anything. She keeps herself separate. And this is where Shuri and Miko basically have a heart to heart. You know, start talking about her. And Miko then finds out that Shuri now knows about her scars, etc.
You can understand the jealousy though, because it's like Miko's been watching over her since before she was born, almost. Because she's kind of like she's always watched over the family. And Shari has literally only been in the scene now for what, maybe 3-4 months.
Yeah,
No,
that's
less than that because it's like it's summer camp, so that means it's going to be towards the end of summer. So yeah, she's only been in there a couple of months.
mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like I like how the level of trust between the two of them is growing. And that's why they're able to have that they're able to talk to each other now, which they weren't in the past when they just kind of insulted each other.
Mm-hmm.
This is where one of my favorite characters enter into it.
Oh, that's where Ayame appears.
Chiba Ayame.
Kitchen girl.
Voiced by Fujita Saki. Couldn't even be more perfect.
But did that not make you automatically suspicious?
It's like she the fact that she looks so much like Hinako's mother is instantly suspicious, and the fact that Hinako instantly looks so much like Ayami's child.
Mm-hmm. It's just too sweet and too nice, and Miko gets jealous.
Yeah, well, you can understand that.
No, yep, that's her personality.
Well, she's the best girl, so she's allowed to be jealous. You just know the moment Ayami appears, you know there's something not quite right with her.
Oh yeah,
It's that moment where it's like Shuri is like walking away, and she turns her head around, and one of her eyes is taken on like a golden color,
Mm-hmm.
and you just leave you rubbing your hands together for the next episode.
Yeah, and that was a bit after. Once again, Shuri pretends to have no interest in her well-being. She's just preserving the meat. Every time she does something, shows a sense of humanity, she always denies it. And even Mika is annoyed that she felt showed up, because she didn't read the room, even though she's been with Hinako for so long. That
I honestly think that she lives so much in her own little world, she's incapable of reading the room. Because it's like it comes across that she has a lot. Like when you see her in school, when you see her walking about town, there's a scene later on where like kids from the elementary school that's tagged onto their high school are kind of like waving and saying goodbye to her and talking to her. So obviously it seems like she's got a lot of friends, but even though she's got a lot of friends, there's only one true friend. There's only one person she really cares about. But given her promise, I can understand that. And now you've got all these mysterious people sticking the law in.
Yep. But that bit where Shuri basically saves her from embarrassment, and then she gets annoyed because she knew what her issue was, but she didn't pick up on it and didn't act on it in the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Let's be honest here. Ayami's reveal is probably the best in this series. Because it's like right when Miko reveals that she's a kitsune, it's like it's kind of like, yeah, we knew something like that was going to happen. We know when Shuri appears that she's definitely something kind of like not of this earth kind of thing.
Yep.
But Ayami just comes across as a creepy but perfectly normal person.
Yep.
Until she grins.
Well, this is the bit where she just appears at the end of the episode and basically takes Hinako away, and then obviously waiting for the next episode to reveal.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
This is a bit where it goes because they're obviously in the storeroom, Ayami and Hinako, and they're doing, prep. And then Ayami says something like, "What vegetables do you not like? I'll make sure not to include them as a thank you." Something that her mother would say. Like, so she obviously has telepathic.
It's not suspicious at all, is it? It's almost as if she knows exactly the right things to say.
Mm-hmm. But the way it escalates, every other yokai has tried to eat Hinako, but Ayami brought an axe.
But a lot of that could be to do with the type of yokai she is, because she says herself that normally she doesn't eat people.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a man eater, but it's like Hinako. It's like Hinako just smells so delicious, she can't resist. So the axe comes out. And I love the fact that Hinako is kind of like, this is it. Everybody else said it's like Miko will never help me. Shuri says that she's not going to eat me now. It's like here is a yokai who wants to eat me. This is it. This is what I want. Like, I can't take my own life, but this person can take my life for me. So when she goes for the axe, what does she do?
Just waits for it. I was like when
raises her
she
arm.
was. Oh, she forgets herself. That's right.
She raises her arms. She tries to defend herself because she's like, "Why did I do that? Why did I do that?" And it's when Ayami cuts her arm. She gets like a full whiff, and she's like, "Oh." It's like I didn't realize that mermaid had given you some of their blood. I didn't realize that bond was with you. I apologize for trying to take someone else's property, which is the moment where Shuri turns in and rips her to pieces. It's kind of weird because you'd think that being the fact that Shuri is meant to be so powerful and so old, you think she'd know that you can't actually you can't kill a Utkutiana without destroying its head.
But did she know what it was? You know what I mean? I don't think these entities reveal what they are. So you don't know.
The fact she got a massive mouth and huge tongue sticking out the back of her head.
Oh, is that the
I like the fact that it shows you. It actually like in the next episode, it actually shows your hair like creation story, which I think is good.
Well, I've seen a book on yokai and I want to actually get it, but I've got it on my wish list.
I've got a role-playing game called Yokai Hunters that you'd like, in which you play Buddhist monks hunting yokai. Then again, I've got another role-playing game which is entirely called Kedamona Opera, which is where you play as the yokai.
I was meant to play that Yokai Hunters, but circumstances.
For circumstances, it never got run. It never got run because the decision was made when it was going to be run, but the date that was chosen for it to be going to run was no good for the people who were playing it, and was no good for me.
Yeah, remember that was a while ago.
I just pulled it back and shut it down.
Yeah, but I remember I was down to play it, but it's still in the back. It's on the list. It's always a possibility.
I'll run it for Horrorific. You'll enjoy it.
Cool. Where was it? Yeah, Ayami was about to say something more when Shuri appears, and because the way this series is,
it's like I love it when you see Shuri when she's angry, because it's kind of like the way she talks, the way she acts, the way she reacts to things around her. She has no idea what being human is about. She doesn't have like a single thread of humanity in her body. I think Ishikawa Yui does an amazing job of that. She's just so cold.
But you do question, did Shuri attack her because she was about to kill Hinako, or did she attack her because she was about to reveal something? Because she'd already stopped and went, "Oh, I didn't realize," and as she was about to go, blah blah blah, she gets ripped to pieces.
That's just it. And the murderer is none other than
Shuri herself.
Yeah.
So here was the question I had at this point, was the fact that Hinako was the only survivor, the fact that she heard the voice, and the fact that Shuri's hinted that she's met her before. is that how she survived? That's when she was given the blood, the mermaid's blood. Now, no, it's not. We get the reveal, but that was a question I had at the time.
Yeah,
because that's you sort of go, why is she hiding it?
It's
What's going on?
it's one like because if you think about it, with no spoilers because it's impossible to write a spoiler for this at the moment. The car crash, yeah,
That's the focal point of everything.
yeah, because the death of the death of Shuri's family is like it's a part where at the moment it's the part that this entire story hinges on. Like the focus moves in a couple of episodes, but if you think about it, when Hinako wakes up, when she regains consciousness after the crash, she's quite some distance away from where the wreck of the car is sinking into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where she fell, or was she pulled there? Because
Well,
if you remember what we saw from like the first half of this, the first person to find her after the crash was Miko.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when Miko realized that something had happened in the crash that made Hinako delicious to yokai.
Yep, everything revolves around that, and it definitely involves Shuri. And Shuri doesn't want her to know yet, or doesn't want any, doesn't want her to know at all. So you start getting suspicious. What actually happened.
I would say it's but kind of like I wasn't aware that you had mermaid blood in you. Kind of like rips to pieces everything that Shuri has said so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything that Shuri has said to her so far has been a lie based on that. And it's like it's not sure. It's like sure. It's like because it's like Shuri says like it's like it's the best line in the film. Like I'm gonna teach you how to love life again, and the moment you love life is when I'm gonna kill you because that's when you'll be your most delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that entire thing, yeah. That entire thing falls to pieces.
Not yet. That bit hasn't been revealed yet.
The walls are crumbling. The next time it's mentioned is when the entire foundation is swept away.
Yep, but there's definitely
it's like that single line from Ayame is basically it's the title. It's the title of the episode, The Cause of the Cracks.
Mm-hmm. So once again, Shuri, we now believe, has been involved, not in the accident itself. I never thought that first start, but definitely involved in saving Hinako's life. We know that. That's without a shadow of a doubt now. We just don't know how and what the circumstances were.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
But
this isn't my kind of anime because it's a kind of anime where nothing is there. There's definitely there's a very, very well drawn plot line at the beginning, but even though the plot line is well drawn, very little is actually clear.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's enough misdirection on the part of the anime, on the part of the story, and enough misinterpretation on the part of the viewer to keep you guessing the entire way.
Yeah, because we know the gist. I mean, we've got an idea, but we don't know exactly, and that's what makes it interesting. And also the fact that you've got entities and people dealing with stuff and trying to deal with it in their own way. Because if everyone's got a different approach, Shuri is completely, as you said, devoid of humanity. Doesn't even understand humanity. Miko is really empathetic, but still, she had to learn to be, and she still has those moments where she's completely, still doesn't understand humanity. There's important bits where her persona that she puts on takes over, and she misses out on important things. But it's her persona it's only that persona that's allowed her to get close to Hinako because it's a safe persona. It's not a probing, it's not a questioning one. If that makes sense.
Yep, makes sense to me.
And we've noticed that throughout this as well that Mika switches that on and off. That's not her actual personality. It's a coping mechanism. It's a defense mechanism.
It's right. Miko, have you noticed when Miko talks with Hinako or any other humans, she's got a really, really squeaky, slightly whiny kind of voice. But when she speaks to anyone else, her voice is really, really deep and totally deadpan.
Oh yeah, I know. As a basically a yokai, an elder god.
Which I think is great, because it's like Miko's voice changes depending on who she's talking to.
But she started to change that.
Yeah, sure is exactly the same. Slightly condescending, as if because Shiori talk. It's like Shiori talk. The sound of Shiori's voice, the intonation of her voice, the words she uses when she's talking to people. She talks as if she's of a much higher social rank than they are. She even Hinako, she talks down to her, which is something the subtitles don't really give you. I absolutely love that.
She did mention about she only has conversations. This happens later, actually, maybe jumping ahead, but she mentions rank and status.
Yeah.
And the way you talk, but Shuri's tell is whenever things get a bit too real, she always deflects. Hinako has now started to speak to, or sorry, Mika has even started to speak to Hinako in her normal voice, and then she's realizing that she's actually losing Hinako, because it's the bubblehead, the safe one that Hinako allows around her, but once she starts getting too adult, too probing, Hinako starts to close off. But it was interesting because after this as well, Shuri she keeps herself to herself. She backs off from everybody.
I say it comes across that Hinako and Miko are the only people she talks to at school. You never see her talking to any of the other girls. You never even see her around. It's a lot of the time, if she's in a scene with other people, she'll have her back turned to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have people, you'll have Hinako, Miko, and maybe some other girl from the school chatting away in the background, chatting away in the foreground. Shara is in the background, looking off into the distance or totally ignoring anything.
Yeah, well, she's not interested. You know what I mean? She's not there to pretend to be human. She's there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's Hinako. So everyone else is basically irrelevant. And we've also noticed as well, at breakfast, nobody remembers Ayami.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the yokai's power, is that when they're not there anymore, people just tend to forget they were even there. So they're not even present unless they announce their presence. So she could be going around school, people not even being remotely aware. They're just a girl there, but there's nothing going on.
Oh yeah, see, this is one of the questions. I talk about Shuri standing looking off in the distance. Yeah. Has anybody else actually noticed she's there?
Probably not. That's
I love this. This is one of the reasons why I think that kind of Eastern monster mythology is way better than Western monster mythology. Because it's we've got werewolves, we've got vampires, we've got all these ghosts and spooks and spirits and poltergeists and things like that, things that go bump in the dark. But we have nothing like this. I mean, look at the Western Mermaid, yeah?
Mm.
The Western Mermaid is supposed to be a monster that lures, like a siren, that lures sailors into the water and then drowns them and eats them, yeah? Mermaids in Western literature have lost that. And now they're cute, sad little princesses who fall in love with people on shore and then die and turn to sea foam because their love cannot be fulfilled.
That's Hollywood.
That's Hans Christian Andersen.
Oh, he wrote The Little Mermaid? Yeah, he wrote it. I have not read that.
So was it the Brothers Grimm? But the Little Mermaid, in the end of The Little Mermaid, she dies and turns to sea foam. Because she gave away her voice so she could come on land, and Ursula, who totally isn't called Ursula, uses her voice to kind of like seduce Prince Charles or whatever his name is. Terrible, tragic ending. Until God intervenes right at the end, but we won't go to that part. Read it for yourself. But it's like even with like the Little Mermaid and things like that, and all of Disney's influence in the East, the mermaid is still like the apex monster that it should be. So like fishermen in modern fishing boats with all their modern equipment, yeah, still give offerings to mermaids before they go out fishing, just in case.
I bloody find that's okay. I don't know where to set it.
No worries, I'm just pontificating about mermaids.
Do you know where the idea of mermaids first came from?
Well, in the West, yeah, but we're from the East.
No, I mean the actual, not the story, but the concept.
Manatees.
Manatees or sea lions. Sailors thought they were women.
Yeah, but that's like the West, because it's like over in the West, yeah, and mermaids don't have antlers. The image you see of Shuri as a mermaid is a true Japanese mermaid.
Right. So
they can heal you if you drink their blood. If you eat their flesh, if it doesn't kill you, it grants you immortality. That's not a mermaid, some princess from the deep. That is a god you are looking at.
So the Little Mermaid is not a grim fairy tale.
Oh, was it Hans Christian Andersen?
Could be. Sorry, that's why. These are hard to read as an adult.
I'm gonna say I've got all of Hans Christian Andersen, all of Grimm's fairy tales, because they are such good source material for role playing games. They really are.
Because they're written for children, they're hard to read as an adult. Just got that wishy-washy, rhymey language.
Yeah, but the thing is, like fairy tales are some of the greatest horror ever written.
Actually, the reason why I got this was I wanted to see if this is a traditional, the Hansel and Gretel one, if it's a proper ending, and not the sanitized. Fucking Americans again, sanitizing everything because they're wimps.
It's all to do with protecting your child's innocence.
But
it's like, because people want their children to stay children as long as they can, and I can perfectly understand that. Yep, I have no children of my own, but most of my brothers and sisters have got children. Most of my friends have got children, and I can understand why they want to keep the children for as long as possible.
This is the proper one where Gretel shoves a witch into the oven. That's what I was
into
wanting.
the oven and kills her.
Yeah, like where they sanitized it, and I'm like, fuck you, because I'm sorry, you can protect innocence, but you don't want naive kids. You don't want kids being naive to the dangers in the world. That's why you use fairy tales, because it's subliminally. We've had this conversation, I know, but
do you remember the old public service announcements? It's like, hello, little boy, come and get in my van. I'll take you out. Ow, 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 ow. Charlie says I shouldn't get in a car with a pedo. You know, those ones.
No, the ones about pylons and stuff are great.
Yeah, and it's like the one where you've got like death standing by a waterside, and there's like these people dragging a kid's body out, and it's like, don't help death kill you. Don't play in the water. Don't douse yourself with petrol and play with matches. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because
don't stick forks in the plug. And it's like, because there was it's like they got rid of all of those, because despite the fact they had like a really good message behind them, be a twat and die, you know, that kind of thing, they took them away because they were like mentally scarring people.
Yeah, boomers, not not fucking the kids. It was
They
boomers
like
looking
they.
at stuff.
Honestly, when did they decide? I remember them being in. I remember them being in the 80s, late 70s, the 80s. I think they
Right on.
disappeared in the 90s.
Yeah, it was the 90s. It was when the Fluffy Brigade fully came to
Charlie
power.
said, "Don't play with matches." I mean, some of those were some of those adverts were absolutely brilliant. Most of them on YouTube. Look up British public service announcements on YouTube. Anyone watching this who isn't British, you will be absolutely shocked by them. But they are some of the best adverts ever made.
Tell you what, I never wanted to go and play in pylons, and I had pylons near where I lived.
Right.
After watching that ad, I never wanted to go. I'd like, I'm good.
Close to where I live, there's a pylon line, and there's a piece of woodland called Manchester Copse. Why? No idea. There's a pylon directly in the middle of it, yeah, and every single one of us knew to keep clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't build bases under it. You don't go climbing it. If you're going to go past it, get past it as quickly as you can.
Plenty of other places to go. It's nothing. It's not exciting. It's just dangerous. Yep, got it. Yeah, that was. And now we have the Tide Pod challenge and all that sort of stupid stuff that they do, and kids stab at each other because they've no idea. You know, like the red versus blue thing that came up there recently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These kids are doing this sort of stupid shit, not understanding.
Yeah, but it's like I'm gonna go Shuri for the moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let them.
Yeah, they'll find it the hard
Right.
way.
It's right. If there are people out there who are stupid enough to do things that they come on, there's no way you can't know that by eating like laundry capsule, it's not going to screw you over. I mean, it's like Tide Pod challenge. Let's try it. Well, let's use this stuff called strychnine.
But
you can still get strychnine. Don't call it strychnine anymore.
If you think about it, going by the ads we had, there would have been one where some idiot's doing a challenge, right? And you see them foaming at the mouth and like dying, and that would have been all its glory and not pleasant to watch.
Yeah,
and people would have known not to do it. One uncomfortable
yeah,
ad.
but I mean, there must have been people who were doing it, or they wouldn't have needed like public service announcements telling people not to do it.
Yeah, but the stuff that you can see pylons because you don't understand.
Yeah,
they just look like climbing frames.
Yeah, there's at the bottom, right, just down from where I live. There's a wood called Gypsy Plantation. Yeah, at the bottom of Gypsy Plantation, there is a carp pond. It's beautiful. It's wide. It's still. It's lovely. It looks perfect for swimming in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from the fact that every single person who lives around here knows that the banks are sheer and it's a 20-foot drop off. It's like if you fall into that, it's 20 feet from the surface to the bottom, and there's no way you are climbing out. Not one single person. While it has been there, it's been there about 40 years. A farmer dug it. While it has been there has not been a single accident because everybody knows. And that to me was the purpose of like these public awareness films, to put people in the know.
No, after the Darwin, you know what I mean, natural selection takes place. If you're still that stupid,
The Darwin Awards. My favorite Darwin Award of the last few years is a very unfortunate French teenager who was in a selfie competition to get the best selfie. So she decided to take a selfie of herself lying on the roof of a train. Unfortunately, her selfie stick that was made of carbon fiber, when she was taking it, touched the pantograph and she fried herself.
Yep,
And I'm like,
that's going to do it.
What part of what she was? Did she know? And if she didn't know, why didn't she know?
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of stuff that makes me angry.
But don't upset people. Don't show anything. You know what I mean? Get rid of the horror genre because it doesn't serve a purpose. Yeah.
But
Anyway,
it's like, yeah, but we can't. It's like we need the horror genre because we no longer have campfire stories.
yeah, it's taken over. You know, what I mean, it's the method. You know, for self-preservation. It's always been horror's job.
Mm.
Is that warning?
Mm,
But
mm.
what's interesting is obviously this all happens. Ayami reappears again, which I kind of wasn't expecting.
Right. One, well, mainly because I've read the manga, I knew she wasn't dead. But I
Mhm.
love the way it's like literally the whole purpose of her coming back was to apologize.
Mhm.
You're trying to take something that wasn't hers to take. Also proving that not all yokai are basically just like baseless evil.
No, it's
They're
like apex
like
predators. You know, it's
yeah, right, yeah. There's no such thing as a good yokai, yeah, but not all yokai are bad.
mhm. But she also reveals that because the mermaid's blood is in her, the mermaid wouldn't be able to eat her. She would actually
Yeah,
be revolting to her, which is a massive, it's a massive reveal.
that is where the foundations get washed away.
Hmm.
That is it. That everything that Shuri said, has said, everything that Shuri's promised, just gets washed away in the flood of that one single statement. Kind of love that. I am a massive softie where anime comes along. I've got to be quite honest. This kind of anime is the kind of anime that I absolutely love and adore.
And then this
It's
is
got
the
nothing.
next
It's got
episode.
nothing. It's got nothing. It's got nothing to do with lesbians because there's no lesbianism actually in this up until the end. It's just the depth of the storytelling and how something that seems something quite innocent said off the cuff just changes the course of the story by so much. This is proper storytelling to me, and I will fight to defend that.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's um I'm making jokes, but at the same time, it's what I mean, it's a great story. You're invested in the characters. I've enjoyed this. And
I
I
I
just think
want.
it's funny because you can see all the double entendres and the language play.
Oh God, yeah.
And I find it amusing because I like that. That's to me, that was proper way. Like all this crap that we've suffered through the last 10 years
Yeah,
over
it's
representation,
kind
which
of
is just
like
basically beat you over the head with a sledgehammer and
right, yeah. It's like this.
has the
I've
opposite
mentioned.
effect.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before. This series belongs to like a subgenre called Yuri.
Hmm.
Yuri is the Japanese word for the white lily. You know, like the white tiger lily. Yeah, which is often used in the East in the same way the color purple is used in the West. Right, purple is apparently the international color of lesbianism. Right, girls liking other girls, and it's kind of like it's in this. It's very light, and it's kind of on like it's on an emotional level, and I don't think it'll ever move away from being on an emotional level. There's no kind of like physicality to this, apart from the occasional scene where they're holding hands.
But here's the thing as well. Miko Miko has no feelings like this whatsoever
Mm.
towards Hinako, and her
Eh?
jealousy is something different. So it's not like if this was Western, it would be a love triangle,
Oh God, yeah.
and
There'd be knives and guns at dawn.
it would be utter bollocks. But this is what makes you okay. What are the characters' motivations? And this is where it's proper. This is what makes you empathetic towards characters.
Mm.
Like, there's not a character here that's appeared that you do not like or do not
No,
resonate with in some way.
I've got to be right. Shuri. I am madly in love with Shuri because to me, she is the epitome of what it means to be a monster.
But
She
it's
doesn't
also
look like
not
a
her
monster.
fault. When you think
But
about it,
she doesn't look like. Yeah, she doesn't look like a monster. But everything she does, everything she says, every little kind of like nuanced article of her being is absolutely. I mean, even to Hinako, everything she says is so matter of fact. You can feel the chill radiating off her. There is no warmth in her whatsoever. She is the most self-centered, self-satisfying character in the entire thing.
but
But you
but at
can't
the
help but
same
like her
time,
for that.
no. But at the same time, though, I would argue against that because she's afraid. There's a fear there,
Mm.
a deep fear of rejection. There's a deep fear because every time there's a moment where Hinako could give in to her, she brushes it off.
Mm.
And then as we delve into her backstory, we understand why. And it's not deliberate and it's not evil. And like I said, it
Mm.
just makes you more
Not like,
interested and more investment into
mm,
finding out
like
why.
a lot of what Miko does comes from duty
Miko says,
because because it's like think about it. Hinako's family all went to Miko's shrine before they left for the holiday, and they prayed to her for a safe journey.
but it wasn't just that one act. They'd been doing it all their lives. She'd grown up
Mm.
with generations of this family. She already said it broke her when it happened.
I kind of want to know because it's like it's never explained if like Miko went out of her way to kind of like provide them with any kind of cover or anything like that before the accident, or whether or not for some reason she just didn't like take care on that time at the time when the accident happened. Never explained, but I just think it feels like a lot of what Miko is doing is literally duty towards Hinako because of
Yeah.
what happened to her family.
But once again, this is the chaos of the universe. It's the shoulda, woulda, coulda thing, isn't it? If it done this or if it done that, but the universe is chaotic and does not care. And events, the father, by all intents and purposes, did everything right. He was still eyes in the road. It wasn't your like once again, if this had been Western, which is how many times we've seen the car crash things where they're driving like this, shut Jews up in the back, blah blah blah. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's
But it's
so
like
shite.
yeah, but
You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
so obvious.
yeah.
Uh
It's like
this isn't
this time it's like literally a bus veers across the road.
just chaos. No, you couldn't have planned for it. It doesn't matter how you could have swerved left, right, left 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. You just don't know. That's the chaos of the universe. That's the unfairness of the universe, and that's the thing that people can't deal with. That that's why religions, fairy tale, everything comes in because people try to make sense of a cold and uncaring universe that at a random event. Like how many times have you seen stories of somebody falls out of a helicopter, bounces 5 or 6 times, survives. Their parachute doesn't open. They get run over by a truck and it just misses them, right? And in the same
Yep.
instance, somebody trips over a curbstone and that's them gone.
Pretty much
And
every time I've watched the A-Team.
yeah, do you know what I mean? Something falls, like a stone falls and hits just the right place, boom, they're gone, or blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's the chaos of the universe, and people have trouble because it's too big. Think of Douglas Adams.
Space is big, really, really big. Yeah.
What was it? The Infinity Machine? Is that what it was called? The
Oh, which one? The Infinity
the restaurant at
Drive.
the end of the universe, isn't it? Where no, so long. Thanks for all the fish. Basically, the Zalpha Babel rocks goes into it, and he comes out all happy. Oh yeah, I knew it was a
Oh
separate
yeah,
universe.
because yeah, yes.
But they're like, yeah, if they had to show him his actual place in the universe, you are here. Um, even if everyone loses their mind because they realize how infinitesimally irrelevant they are, and that's what this is. showcasing the series. It's just like, that's the whole live every day, isn't it? Because you just don't know which day is going to be your last.
Mm.
And that's so true. You could do everything right, you could do everything correct, and be gone tomorrow. That's just the way it is, and but through no fault of your own. And it's the injustice of it, and this is what Hinako can't get her head around. That why did she let survivor's guilt? Massively. Why did she survive? And she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be alive without her family because up to that point they were perfectly happy, and she was that age where she knew nothing but love and adoration. It wasn't a broken home. It was nothing like that. And this just, she can't shake it. She can't move past. She feels guilty if she has any sort of happiness because she doesn't feel it's right. She never got closure. Never got that last thing. And it was a fleeting voice, telling her to live. That's she's done so out of duty, not out of want. Now she has this opportunity to actually end it. And she's finding out it's a lie as well. And this is where she tells Miko what Ayami revealed. It was funny though when she's offers it, like, do you want to, like, I know it's healed up, but I can cut it again. What are you doing now? Completely forgetting Miko bit off two of her tails so as not to devour.
Yeah. But didn't you enjoy Yami's backstory?
I did. About how many? The wicked stepmother.
The
wicked
wicked
classic-
stepmother. The beautiful young woman who marries a man who already has a child, and then underneath her husband's glaze, starves the child to death, or poisons the child,
or hits him
only
in the
for
head
some
with an
strange
axe.
reason that isn't explained. Took up an axe in the back of the head, but the axe wound doesn't heal. It becomes her second mouth as she turns into a yokai. With a huge tentacular tongue longer than she is. Brilliant story.
It's almost like a punishment.
Kind of.
It's like her atonement. She doesn't get to live one life. She has to live
Gonna
forever.
spend the rest of her life as a monster. But I do love the entire kind of like backstory of that.
It was unexpected for her to come back the way she did, because we've been used to just the other yokai appearing, getting dispatched quickly, plot moves on. The fact that she came back specifically to apologize and then basically opens this can of worms. And funnily enough, if Shuri is such a monster, why is she avoiding telling Hinako this? I mean,
Because
there's loads of ways you can spin it. Loads of ways you could spin it to make it a positive thing.
It's a lie. It's a lie. She lied to her.
No, but that's what I mean. Why did she lie to her from the start? Why? Once again, it's that fear of rejection.
Because she wants control over Hinako.
No, I think it's deeper than
that. She wants Hinako to live a long life, despite the fact that Hinako herself wants to die. But the reason for that, we won't find out for a couple of episodes yet.
Yeah. But an admission does come out that they had met 10 years previously. That weekend, the very time, once again, everything revolves back to the accident.
But this is before the accident.
Not by a couple of days. but it's at the time. You know what I mean?
No, because if you watch it, there's a scene in that scene where young Hinako says that her and her family are staying in that hotel over there, and that she loves this sea just as much as she loves the sea outside of her home. I think they go to the same place on holiday every year. So whether this is a year before or a couple of years before, it doesn't actually tell you.
Okay, right. Maybe I'm trying to tie it all together too much because I thought it was all within the same.
You need to watch this again. You need to watch. It's like all anime. It's worth watching twice.
Have you seen my watch schedule for like the next 2 weeks? I don't get to choose what I watch anymore.
It's probably 2 or 3 full-length feature films every day.
I'm like, honestly, I have to watch bloody the next 2 Ash vs. Evil Dead episodes after this, so I'm caught up.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because that's just the way just the way it goes. It's been full on.
Yeah. Well,
because then I have to get what is it?
There's never enough time to do all the things you want to do. No matter who you are or what you say, there's no time.
I've actually got a couple of days off work next week, so I'll get to catch up. So that's something. I didn't last week, and I'm just doing this whole like burning candle both ends and like plus admin stuff. You know what I mean? But anyway, never mind about that. I will get the rewatch that stuff eventually, but it's a long time away. There's too much to catch up on.
Definitely.
But we don't get the full story. But we know that Shuri met Hinako 10 years previously, and that she did give her some of her blood and a blessing. And it was the blessing that accelerated the mermaid's blood in her body. It was meant to be a gradual thing, but the accident accelerated everything, which then made her alluring to the yokai because she never had a problem with this before.
Yes, because it's like like she was probably delicious to yokai her entire life, yeah, but she's got Miko watching over her and the family, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when she had the accident, she basically used most of the mermaid's blood in her body up, because the mermaid's blood would have helped her heal
and fused with her.
And
accelerate. But this is meant to be a thing over time, but it accelerated that moment. And technically she should have died, but she didn't because of the mermaid blood in her system. The reason she was actually able to be recovered at all.
Yes, because there's a scene where it's mentioned that the doctors said they didn't think she'd survive because of her injuries.
And we also find out as well here that it was actually Shuri's voice that she heard. Not like Shuri wasn't there at the accident, but it was her voice. It was the echo of her voice.
From 10 years ago, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because of the moment accelerated and brought it to the fore. And then it was that moment on the bridge. It was that exact moment on the bridge where Hinako was going to throw herself off that brought Shuri to her again. So even it was an echo of Shuri during the accident. Shuri wasn't there. It was the echo of the blessing. But it was her about to jump off the bridge that actually called Shuri to her.
Kind of weird. It's like after 10 years, it's like Shuri turns up and can't believe that Hinako isn't the same little child that she met on the beach or in the cove.
Which I haven't got to yet, but
different cove. Right. Next episode, yes, said with a prayer.
No, we're not there yet because we've still got Miko
I know, but
and Shuri.
Again, another example of great horror.
Mm-hmm. But we'll have Shuri and Miko go on a date.
That is the weirdest day ever. It's like, why am I here with you? I don't know. Why did you come? Look at those penguins. Don't they look delicious? That conversation about like between about Shuri states that between Hare and Miko, they could probably devour every single living thing in that zoo in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, brrr. But that's part of Shuri's monstrosity, isn't it?
But that's
She doesn't. There's no differentiation between, say, I'll use penguins because they're looking at the penguins, between a penguin and a person.
or an elephant, or
Yeah, they're all just meat.
Mm. But if you think about when she reveals here that she didn't have parents, she didn't have siblings, she existed alone in the depths of the ocean.
She's
Like there's-
she's an immortal being. She just became aware. It's like what? Because she asked Miko if Miko remembers her family, and she says Miko only remembers that most of them ended up as pelts.
Mhm.
Because I get like again, Miko wouldn't have started off as a kitsune. She wouldn't have started off as a fox spirit. She'd have started off as a regular fox, gained that power. Probably from the anger of all their like siblings and whatnot being killed and turned into fur. It's the same like Akame. Akame became a yokai because of like the evil she committed against her. I actually think it's stepson. Sure, kid's a boy. Between their stepchild and being smacked in the back of the head with an axe.
That'll
It
do it.
doesn't explain how she was smacked in the back of the head with an axe.
Was it not her own actions? Because we saw that thing.
I'm pretty sure it was an accident.
Was it not her own actions that? No, I mean, but the actions that she carried out was then reflected back on her.
You've got to be pretty clumsy to smack yourself in the back of the head with the business end of an axe.
I think it was more metaphorical. Or maybe the husband did it, but you know, the fact that she basically took out the stepkid with an axe, and I think that was, you know, the metaphor for a punishment or the method, you know, the just a reminder what she did. That's what I was taking from it anyway. I could be completely wrong. But this is the other bit as well. We get a reveal, or Shuri lets us know that she had tried to live with humans before. And then that's where we're going to say with the prayer. And this is
this
is like dark.
This is horror. This is proper old-fashioned horror.
She's basically the troll under the bridge, or the, you know, the proper monster. She lived in a cove right next to a village where the villagers threw their unwanted children in.
See, that's kind of like it's like I don't think it's so much as like she lived with humans as she coexisted. Because this is Shuri, yeah. So I'm pretty sure the only reason she stayed in that cove was because people fed her.
Yeah,
and I love the bit where she like the people threw their children in, and she ate them. But of course, she can't explain why people were throwing their children in. And Miko's kind of like sitting thinking, and she's like, because it's one mouth less to feed.
Yeah, a form of post-birth abortion sort of thing. You know, it's right. Winters, the crops haven't been good this year. Can't afford this one. Woof. But even that, this is the closest Shuri came to actually living with humanity in her mind. One of the children got thrown in and it survived and sort of became feral, and she caught fish for it. Like it was like Lord of the Flies type stuff.
It's almost like she's going to treat it like a pet, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah, there's no way I'm eating that. But it's like yeah, picking up the blood-stained clothes of the children who've been eaten, so that she can clean them out, wash them in the sea, and wear them. It's like, just think of the horrors that kid must have seen.
I knew nothing else, but this goes on for a while, and then the sea changes or something. Something in the wind that basically Shuri's like, right, time for me to move on. Like this was a moment, even though it was this entire child's life. And she thinks to herself, oh, I know, I'll give her a blessing, as in give her some of my flesh. And then buggers off and leaves her to deal with it.
Yeah, but do you understand the difference between mermaid blood and mermaid flesh?
It's the intensity, isn't it? The flesh is
Right,
the actual,
Right. This is the reason why people treat mermaids as gods. If you drink mermaid's blood, even a drop, yeah, it will help you heal and keep you healthy. Mermaid's flesh grants immortality. That's full immortality, as in, oh no, I've been blown to bits and only my head is left. Immortality. You will regenerate.
Mm-hmm.
This is why people want. There's another horror anime called Mermaid Forest, which is in the late 80s, early 90s, which goes into a lot more detail on this.
Oh shit! Is that another one for the list?
You can add it to the list. You can add it to the list if you want.
I guess we shall.
I think there's like 2 or 3 of them. It's an OVA series, so it's only kind of like 30-minute long episodes.
Oh, sorry, that's what we can do that.
I've got it on video because it was never released on DVD.
Well, if we can find it then. Anyway.
It'll be out there somewhere, but because of certain companies closing down all the sites that have really, really long back catalogues, it may be a problem.
Yeah. Fuck you, bastards. Not even stuff they're doing. Anyway, that's the problem with closing everything off. There's no archiving anymore.
No, there isn't. It's a shame that there's probably copies of it. There's probably copies of it that exist, but it's like, unless there's probably the original people who developed it have probably still got records of it, but unless there's a sudden like need for it, unless people like everybody suddenly wants to watch it, it'll never be released.
Mm-hmm. No, but that's the problem. It's so much stuff gets created, so much stuff gets. We've had this conversation loads of times, and
how do you bring this conversation a million times more?
But how do you bring something back into the zeitgeist? Is watch it, talk about it, let people become aware, let them find it and try it out, and then you never know. But anyway, I was interested in this because Shuri didn't give it another thought. She thought she'd done a nice and noble thing, not realizing she just upended a mortal's life, their entire existence. And this mortal, now immortal, swore revenge, and then it was like a century later. I think those were mill grenades, so it was possibly
they were those hideously horrible, scratchy Nambaku grenades from the end. Basically, it's the end of World War II.
Is it World War II? I thought it was.
It's the end of World War II with those grenades. Yes, I love the way she just comes like running towards it with just an armful of grenades, every single one with the pin pulled out. And they just blow each other. The thing is, she basically blew them both up, but neither of them would have died.
That's what I was hinting at, because that's the potential for season 2.
I don't think I don't think they filled out pretty much the entire story. It's like any more would just be a continuation of.
But
it's like they've covered all the main plot points in the first series. So
I know it leads, but I'm just saying that character isn't gone. So there is something maybe to, play with her at a later time. But these events are all cyclical because her irreverence towards a human and not understanding humanity put her in a position where she's basically a, a waif of herself and barely surviving. And this is where she washes up in the cove and meets Hinako.
Because can I be honest? The bit between the explosion and then meeting Hinako is like pure art. It is so good.
But that's what I'm saying. This is what I see Shuri as. This is her not, depths of the ocean, like only the
because she
whales.
like Shuri is basically being reduced to like a conscious
Actually,
thinking
you
lump
carry on
of
a second.
meat.
I'll be right back.
All right, Shuri is basically the explosion basically blows most of her away. She loses her tail, she loses both arms, half her head. She's just reduced to kind of like this floating sentient lump of meat trapped inside her own head. Just like being washed around by the ocean currents until she gets washed up in this little kind of almost like rock pool of a cove. And there she meets the child who is Hinako. And Hinako isn't afraid of her and totally calls her fishy. I don't really want to go on anymore. That Colin being here. I should just start going like, watch it. The monster wants to eat me. Find it out. Watch it. It's good. What about Colin? I'm aware of the silence, but anything I say now is just going to be complete knitted cobblers. This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Did you just get stage fright?
Here he is. Well, no, I just haven't got. It's kind of one of those. Do you know what? I haven't actually got a huge amount to say at the moment.
All right. Thought you were chomping at the bit there about the whole. But anyway, this is the bit where it reveals the whole meeting between Hinako and Shuri, or Hinako and Fishy, because
Fishy.
Hinako's only like 6, and Shuri's just lying there and basically washed up on shore, and she's talking about how she could have eaten her just there and then, but something stopped her.
She hadn't got any arms.
Yeah, but then she came closer and she could have snapped at her. And like she had more than enough opportunity and something stopped her. It was I don't know, the first child like 100 years before, or what was more male curiosity. But she saw something in Hinako, like a brightness, and the fact that she was completely unafraid and just saw her as, something to be looked after or to be kind to. But I love the fact that she shares her packed lunch. And that was enough to sustain her for a bit. But then she brings out the big guns, as in 21st century sugar, carb loaded products. And that was
It's
an
like, have
instant
this big
revival.
bag of. It's the fact that previously she's managed to survive on the occasional small fish that swam into her mouth.
Yep.
And I'm like, But this is the first look. This is the first serious look you get at Shuri in a mermaid form.
Mm-hmm. But this is the bit where, because Hinako kept saying, I'm sure I've seen you before. when she saw her in her first form.
Mm.
And yeah, just basically Hineko's just chatting away to her, saying, "Oh yeah, we're up at points to the hotel room. We're staying here. I think we've got a couple of days, blah blah blah." And even at the end, she's like, "Sorry, I have to go now." You know.
Yeah, because her mum's calling her.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the bit where Shuri makes her forget.
Yeah, so she basically, that's the point where she gives her blood, and it was a purely magnanimous thing. It was just, I wish she long and healthy life, and the blessing as well on her. You know, it was just purely selfless, which, as we know with Shuri, is something that she is not.
Mm.
But this Hinako touched her, that just by her selflessness, she didn't have to think about it. There's nothing to gain, just purely
Mm.
didn't even know what she was, but didn't care, you know, somebody needed help.
Oh no, she was something from the sea, and she loves the sea. So why should she be scared?
No, but you know what I mean? She didn't know what she was or what, didn't care. It was just, you need help. And that, just even at that age, didn't want reward for it, didn't want praised, didn't go tell her parents, not, you know what I mean? It was just purely selfless act. And for the first time in Shuri's existence of 1,000 years, whatever, you know, she gave what she thought was a selfless act, which was some of her blood and a blessing. Imagining never to see her again.
Mm.
And then this is the interesting bit, because then when she finishes relaying the story, Miko's like, "You should have a conversation with Hinako." And Shuri goes, "A conversation?" uh?
You've got no idea. You can't spend your entire life talking down to ants and expect to know what a conversation is.
Yeah, that's her whole thing. Yeah, she's like, I would talk to beings of similar status, not, you know, but she's been alone, that she doesn't know how to. And all her time, this is not, you know, this is completely out of her wheelhouse. And this is what I'm talking about, the point of every time this moment of connection happens, she shies away and brushes it off because she doesn't know how to process it. She doesn't know how to deal with it. It's something completely alien to her, but it also stirs up feelings. Like I said, I like this. Is deep. You know what I mean? There's a depth to it of the characters and the emotion, and it doesn't spell it all out for you, but you get it through the
Oh God,
interactions.
the best kind of story is the story that gives you wiggle room, that gives you
Mhm.
enough room to come up with your own theories, your own expectations, your own idea of how things are going to end.
I can get that,
And
because obviously me growing up,
Mm.
and still to this point, people bamboozle me. I'm like, why do you act like this? What is this? You know, why do you make things difficult when there's no need for it? I even, you know, even days in work, people act a certain way, and I'm like, why do they
Mm.
do this? I'm sitting scratching my head, going, why? You know, that's what I wind myself up with. When you see people like drama and stuff, you're like, why? You know, that's always been my question. Like, people at drama farm and all that kind of stuff. It's not healthy. It's not good. It doesn't lead anywhere positive. But they can't help themselves, and it's just their personality. And I just go, huh? And I always had this notion, even growing up, if I did the right things in a certain sequence, that would be okay. And it took me years to learn that no, like, especially in the workplace, I thought if I just went in, did things correct and helped, that would be enough. I had no idea about office politics, that sort of stuff, and people's motivations and jealousy and all this stuff that creeps in. I was completely oblivious to all that. I was a bit like Shuri. Just, you what? Not condescending, but just like, huh? Why aren't we all just getting this done and going about, like, why is somebody going out of their way to create drama, which people would do? And then you realize that that's how they get attention, where I would just talk to someone. You know what I mean? That was my thing. Even though it wasn't fantastic, I would still just talk to somebody or get involved in a hobby, or I had other outlets to be productive, like doing this,
Yeah.
it's something I put my energy into. I don't see it as a negative thing. Not for me anyway. Sometimes, yeah, it does feel like work because you're, you know, it can get a bit much, but that's just the ebb and flow of it. Other times it's quiet. Say la vie. I mean, you roll with it. But I never understood, like, there's other people come onto this, like YouTube stuff, just to stir shit and get people fighting with each other and rage bait and all that kind of stuff. And I never understood it. To me, that's a waste of existence. But just the
It's
way,
it's an influencer superiority kind of thing, isn't it? It's like, oh my god, I'm saying this, and people need to get angry about it because that's the authority I have over you. I am going to make you angry, so I am going to say this. It's blah 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 noise.
yeah, but to me, that's inviting drama into your life. And I can't be arsed with that. So, like I said, it's just completely, huh? So, like, Shuri goes here, a conversation, just completely, huh? That's me. Like, when people drama farm and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, huh? Why? Wait, why would you do that? Why would you invite that into your life?
God knows.
That's like headache inducing, that's like extra work. I kind of wanted, growing up, Hanako to start calling Shuri Fishy again because it was funny the way she kept saying it. There's just
How do you know that? How do you know that further in the manga she doesn't?
well, that'd be funny if she did, because it'd be like, "Hi, Fishy." In fact, that would be a term of endearment, wouldn't it?
I think it's more Miko who'd do that.
No, Miko's more fish girl, but the way Hanako said fishy was like, Hanako says it with a bit of venom. Same way as Shuri goes fox girl, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when Hinako says fishy, it's completely innocent, and just endearing.
Pretty sure she doesn't call her fox girl. I'm pretty sure she calls her mongrel.
Remember that bit?
Depends on which. Depends on which sub you're watching.
I didn't see mongrel because that's. But also, a thing we found out as well is that Shuri still wears the seashells that Hinako gave her during that first meeting. She still has them in her hair.
Just turn into a little hair grip, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've obviously over time, eroded and stuff, but it's still the same seashells. But this has knocked Hinako for 6, all this revelation of what happened, and the fact that effectively Shuri saved her life. And, if Shuri hadn't have blessed her the way she did, she'd be with her family. And the fact that as well that Shuri, would struggle to eat her because of the mermaid blood in her, etc., etc. This is all just, she thought she'd found a way out of her melancholy, which is basically what this is. This is like severe depression. The only way she's seeing out of it is not to be here anymore. And now she's just like completely like zonked, like she's just laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, won't go to school. That's it.
The scene when she's walking to school and she sees like one of the hands rising out of the ocean. See, that's a powerful scene right there.
Well, the fact she'd forced herself to get up, get dressed, and she was going to applaud the school and go through her life, and then she sees his hand. She's like, "I can go. I can get out of this."
Yeah, this is it. It's like it's the fact. It's kind of like Shaw isn't going to eat me, so I don't have to worry about doing what she wants anymore because the promise is gone.
Mm-hmm.
The voice I heard wasn't my parents, so I don't have to kind of like keep myself living for my parents anymore. It's like none of it matters anymore. I don't have to wait for like some yokai to do it. I don't have to wait for Shuri to take my life. I can do it myself. She charges off into the waves. That is a monstrous scene in itself.
Yeah, just being that.
You've just seen a young woman who pretty much has everything to live for and some great friends just turn around and say, "Do you know what? Fuck it. I'm dying this moment."
She doesn't even just have great friends. She has two supernatural godlike entities whose sole
To be quite
purpose
honest,
has become the protector.
The fact that they're supernatural godlike entities to me doesn't come across as a plus point.
No, but
especially not when one of them, for the most part, is driven out of a sense of duty, and the other one, for the most part, is driven out of a sense of selfishness.
But if you think about it,
neither of them are great friends.
No, but if you're tackling the world and you have that team behind you, you're not going to lose.
Mm.
Think about it. Like if your head was on even remotely straight, I'm tackling the world and this is my team. You're unstoppable. But because she is that broken, it doesn't even counter. Doesn't even equate or enter her mind that this I could conquer the world. I could do this. I could do that. Blah blah blah. Just not even thinking there. All she is, she's consumed by grief and survivor's guilt. That has consumed her completely, and nobody has been able to. She hasn't been able to deal with it, talk to it, and is that a societal thing? Is that just even her aunt isn't really she doesn't have any conversations with her aunt. We'll never see that.
No,
her aunt just sort of exists. She's given her somewhere to live.
You only ever see her that one time.
Yeah.
The only time you see her aunt is literally.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. She's basically a stranger. She's, Hinago stays in her house, but they're not close. She's working, etc. They live separate lives. Hinago doesn't cause trouble, so the aunt doesn't get involved. Signs whatever papers, for school, etc. needs to be signed. That's it. Almost like a business arrangement. So she has had no way to deal with this or get through it or anything. Mika, even though she lives with humans and has done, she still doesn't understand them. To a point, there's still that bit of her doesn't get it. She understands more than Shuri, but still doesn't. But this is the bit where she finally does crack. I mean, basically they come around to your house after school. They bring ice cream. They try to.
Nobody comes around my house after school and brings me ice cream. I might be a bit old though, to be quite honest.
If you've school kids turn up to your house with ice cream, I'd fucking worry.
What? My nephews and nieces always used to pop round.
I just meant like random kids.
No. Oh God, no, random kids. If random kids come knocking at the door, they go. Then random kids come knocking at the door. They normally knock at the door, ping the doorbell, and run.
Oh my God, there was this. When was it? About a month or two ago in work, and we have a policy: no kids in the shop because of all the trouble happening in the neighborhood.
Yeah, but I can understand that.
One of them's a daughter, somebody I work with, right?
Yeah.
And she come in, and because of New Year, etc. And she goes
Yeah.
to her friend. They're both in their school uniforms, right? And she's like, "It's okay, he's my friend." And I just went, "Oh fuck, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't say
But
that.
but but,
Don't say it out
but
loud. Oh
that's
shit, oh
that's
shit."
it. It's
And
like
every
yeah,
alarm
that's
went
children though,
off.
isn't it? It's like children have right, children. Most children have two groups of people: the people who are their friends and the people who are not. And there's nothing in between, beyond or before.
I died. I'm like, don't say things like that. Oh my god, I'm in so much trouble right now.
It's
It
like this
was
person is
purely
my friend,
100%
Colin.
innocent.
Colin standing outside the shop, waving his arms up and jumping for dear life. I'm not pedo, honestly.
No, I don't work for the BBC. I don't work for the BBC. I promise. I promise. Oh my god, that was one of them moments of oh shit. That would have
I
been
should,
taken 20 years ago,
it's like,
completely as
right.
is.
Oh God, dude, right. If this was like the 90s, early 2000s, early 2010s, you'd be hanging by a piece of piano wire from the nearest lamppost.
Oh god, that
They'd
was
be,
brilliant.
they'd be dragging you down the street behind a bus.
Oh yeah.
It's
I'm like,
this is back in the days when people stopped allowing their children outside to play because of
BBC
probably
employees.
because of public awareness films, probably.
Oh god, that was like anyway.
Charlie says, "Don't tell people that some adult is your friend because you will get killed."
They both try different tactics in this anyway. Miko uses the whole bubblehead thing because she realizes that's how she gets through.
That's Miko all over, though, isn't it? I mean, she comes across as the airhead.
No, it's a tactic. You have seen it just too many scenes now where she's normal and she switches that because it's a tactic. It's an act. That's more than obvious. And she switches it on when she needs it. Like that's how she deals with school. But when when Heneko puts her defenses up, then she switches to bubblehead mode, which lets her through. God, this is the most devastating scene, isn't it? Where Heneko finally cracks, just lets it all out.
Yes, it's a bit where are you having fun? The bit where she turns around and says, "Actually, I didn't want to come on this trip."
No, this isn't the trip. This is when they're in the house. The trip isn't until the last episode.
Eh?
This is the bit where basically she's been off for 2 days of school.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead.
Jumping ahead. No, this is the bit where basically they brought ice cream. That was the whole thing. I brought this ice cream. It's going to melt. She switches the bubblehead to get her in. Then they're trying to basically get through her. And this is the point where basically she breaks down in the living room floor. How she wants to basically die. She lost her family. She'd never got over it. Blah blah blah. And it all comes out. And she's been betrayed. She thought she had a chance to end this by not breaking her promise.
But she knows her promise is false now.
Yeah, but this is the whole point where it all comes out. What was keeping her going to this point? Then that's the penultimate episode, Beloved Child. That's where Shuri gives Hennigo back her memories of their first meeting. It's an interesting episode. Beloved Child, it wasn't really felt like a bit of a filler episode, to be honest. It was more of a continuation of the previous one and the lead up to the last one.
Oh, that's a popular, that's a very common ploy that they use, but it serves a purpose because it's a continuation of the previous episode, but it allows more of the feeling to come through.
Mhm.
It's almost like you could say like a lot of the last episode was Hinako Miko, where this is more like Himiko and Shiori, because this is where Shiori. This is the one where Shiori, she renews her promise, doesn't she?
Yeah, so they make a new blood pact.
Mm.
That she will eat her.
Because this is the this is the one where she tries to get to school but doesn't make it, because at the end of the last one is the one where she sees the hand sticking out of the sea.
Yep. But this is after them. Basically, she's been off for 2 days. They come and meet her in the house. They try to get through to her. This is where she completely breaks. And then it seems like she's got that out of her system, that she's basically going to try and plod on. But then she decides that's enough. She sees the hand again, and then that makes her rush, just rush into the sea. And this is the point, basically, after Sherry and Miko have had the talk about actually having conversations, Sherry decides to give it a go. And completely fails because she just doesn't understand. You know what I mean? But this is where the new blood, the Blessed Beloved Child, the next episode, this is where that episode continues. It basically just carries on straight afterwards. But it was a bit of reverse psychology because Shuri understands that was the only thing keeping her, the promise of ending it. So Shuri decides to use that.
Because that's just it. Because now the promise is the promise is nothing to do with that. The promise is something from an echo in her memory from a long time before. So now there's nothing to stop her. There's nothing to prevent her. She has no reason to stay. She can finally do what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes charging off into the surf, and as she does, the hand smiles. Which isn't creepy at all. But I love the bit as she's like battling her way through the water to try and reach this hand, and just as she reaches out to take it, Shuri basically drags her out the water. And the thing that upsets her most isn't the fact that she was trying to take her life, but it's the fact that she was willing to give it to such a low life.
Mm-hmm. Such a lesser status being. She felt was not beneath her, but beneath Hinako. But this is the bit where it all turns, I mean, the Beloved Child episode, this is where they basically try to have a conversation and a talk. And as well, Shuri's trying to understand humans while she's trying to talk to her.
She's got no chance. She's got no chance of understanding humans, is Shuri?
Yeah. But then this is something she does understand, that while the promise was there, she had Hinako. So the sensible thing to do would be make the promise again. But of course, she would decide when it was, not Hinako.
Mm.
And it's almost like Hinako wants that as well. The decision to be, she knows if she's got the decision, she's jumping into the sea again. But actually to have the decision taken out of her, out of her hands, so to speak, means she'll carry on.
Mm. See, it's an interesting story coming from the country that has the highest teenage suicide rate in the world.
Hmm.
But right, and it's like why? What is it that causes this? The pressure to succeed, the pressure to be good, the pressure to do everything, the pressure to live, the pleasure to live a good, wholesome, happy life, the pleasure to do the pleasure to succeed with your exams, the pleasure to succeed in life, to be happy, to find someone you love, to raise a family, to get the best results in this, the best results in that.
But not
Everything.
everybody can be the best.
Oh no, but it's kind of like it's like Himiko's family's wish. Himiko's family. This is the reverse. Himiko's family's wish is the only thing that's keeping her from taking her life. And the moment she finds out that wish was from somewhere else, that it was a lie, the first thing she tries to do is take her own life.
Mm-hmm.
How cruel is it to stop her? What power does anyone have to deny someone else's final wish?
Yeah, but is it, or is it grief? That's what I mean. Grief is powerful, but would her family want her to do that?
Yeah, yeah, but then again, it's like it's her grief that causes her to do that.
Mm-hmm. This could be a conversation that goes on, you know.
Oh, this is
People,
one of those conversations where people will be like, and leave.
that's the underlying
Yeah, there you go.
that's the underlying theme of this whole series. It's dealing with suicidal thoughts and survivor's guilt and grief and relationship. You know what I mean? And how do you pick yourself up after your life has been literally torn away from you? How do you carry on? How do you do it? Should you do it? You know, blah blah blah. And it's all down to the individual. Like I said, I know double-digit people who have taken their own life, and you had no indication. Some people that, you know, one or two, yeah, but generally they try to be life is all the party, or they try to be smart and funny, or they're always gobbing off, and then one day that's it, they just do it.
Yeah.
You have no indication it's there. This has been played out differently. That, you know, her melancholy is so obvious.
Oh,
But funny enough,
it's deep down in its heart. This is an anti-suicide story.
Mhm.
But it's not a case. It's not a case of like the person who is, I don't know, the person who is unhappy, the person who is sad, the person whose heart is broken, the person who's depressed, the person who can't live with her life anymore, doesn't want to take her life. She's being prevented from taking her life, and that is a massive difference.
But that's
But they can't put. I get the feeling that the swing that the author wants to put on this story can't be put there.
right. So there's a guy I grew up with, in the neighborhood. I knew some more. You know, he's not, but still, I don't want to tell too much, obviously, to give information. But just this person, they decided they didn't want to be here anymore. Now, the first tried by, this is before catalytic converters. The first tried with a car.
Yeah.
They were dragged out of the car, committed. Thought they got help, back out in the world again. They then tried with pills. Same again, got just in time. Back in, you know, hospital, blah blah blah. So the third time he tried. Third time, I think he just hung himself. That was it. You know, determined to do it. And there was loads of mates, loads of people knew him. You know, well thought of person, and had a family. But in the end, he was determined that it was going to happen, and nobody could stop him.
No.
That's it. You know. Nor again, you didn't always like really reserved, polite, like a school teacher type persona, if that makes sense. Went into work and blew his brains out. Sat at his desk, took his revolver out, boom, gone. That came out of nowhere. someone's themselves scratching their head going, what the fuck? You know what I mean? If someone's determined, they're going to do it.
Oh yeah,
And
but if
there's-
you don't, right, here's the question: is Hinako determined?
I don't think she is.
Because people in my estimation, in what I know, people who want to die don't tell people.
This is what I've been sort of talking about. I don't think
Mm.
she does. And I
It
think
it, it,
this
it
is
almost it,
all of she can't
but
process grief.
it
And she's,
it like it almost comes across to me using my Western sensibilities. Yeah, that she just wants people to feel sorry for her. Oh, you poor love, your family's dead.
nobody else. Here's the thing: nobody else notices her.
Well, it's like the bloke dressed in rags with a tin in front of himself, sitting under a lamppost in the middle of a city. No one notices them either.
Yeah, nobody notices. She's a ghost in school. Nobody probably even knows she has these
Oh,
thoughts.
no. It's not a case of people don't notice her. People make the conscious choice to ignore.
Hmm. We have you've hit the nail on the head at certain points. The only person that interacts with the other children, the other schoolgirls, is Miko.
Mm.
The only person they ever really speak to is Miko. Hinako keeps herself separate, just quiet and reserved. Now, she's not rude. She's not, because they do try to invite her and stuff, but she always keeps herself separate.
She always says no.
Yeah.
Shuri, I don't think would know how to interact.
No, but they probably don't even, because of the entity, because she's a mermaid, they don't even know she's there. You know what I mean? They can, which was seen with Ayama and that, that once they're gone, the sort of fade from memory and go, it's like a magic, like the magic paper and stuff that could put a spell on it. Oh, they're meant to be here, and that's about as much thought they're given. They probably never turned in the homework because it just wasn't, oh yeah, there is another people here, but because of the spell, that they're just there. And the only person that actually interacts, is known as Mika, because she proactively goes out to interact. So the only people that get her innermost thoughts are Mika and Shuri. And it is a cry for help. Do you know what I mean? But you can't process. I don't think it's as shallow. I don't think Hinako's that shallow, if that makes sense. She's somebody who's had her world turned upside down. She doesn't know how to deal with it or what the proper thing to do is. Like I said, there's so many layers of this. You know what I mean? It's not just on the surface. We've all seen that whiny attention-seeking brat. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We've all seen that. I don't believe that's Hinako.
But no, because Hinako wants what Hinako wants. She doesn't care what anybody else thinks. It's hard to explain. It's weird, considering she's the main character. It's hard to explain how she actually fits into a lot of this, because she doesn't. It's like she's a separate entity. She's a separate entity from the rest of the world, in the same way that Miko is a separate entity and Shuri is a separate entity.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like it's like every single one of the main characters is a monster for their own reason.
No, I can get it because she's got, like I said, if anyone else that had two supernatural entities on their team would rule the world. And Hinako doesn't.
I don't think Hinako cares.
No,
But
but
think about it. The whole
interesting.
the whole reason she's still here, the whole reason she's at the end of this series, the whole reason she's still here, the whole reason she can smile is because she knows sooner or later she's gonna die. She's already dead. She has no no interest in being part of life. She's dead.
Hmm. Maybe it's just
she could actually be as much of a yokai as the other two. I've read forward in the manga. I'm not giving any spoilers out by saying that, by the way.
all right. I was wondering because I'm not getting into
No, it's like just the way she comes along. She right. Think about her the bento, right? Her packed lunch that she takes with her every day.
Mm-hmm.
Always the same.
Yeah, because
It's
that's
the one
Miko
that
showed her how to make it.
Yeah, it's that Miko showed her how to make that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Since that started, she hasn't bothered to look for any more recipes. She hasn't bothered to look for anything else that she could take in her packed lunch. She just takes the same packed lunch because that's how interested she is in it. She says to Shuri in one of the earlier episodes, it's like Shuri says something about, oh, that's a delicious looking bento, which doesn't make any sense until the later episodes where you see young Himiko give her a bento. She literally states that the only reason she brings a bento is because one of her friends would be upset if she didn't. And then she proceeds to sit there and talk to Shuri and not eat it.
Mm.
So look at what. So it's the question I ask is, what exactly is this anime about?
Mm.
What is this story about?
I'm still going with what I believe. You know what I mean? It's just grief for not like I said, because once again, I've known people with survivor's guilt. I've known people with grief. You know what I mean? It's just part of the growing up where I grew up. It's just part of the fabric, if that makes sense. I've probably seen it more concentrated than anywhere else. So I would say, without being a smart arse, that I've a bit more of an intimate understanding of how that bust. You know, I've seen too many people just their boilers get busted. That was always a saying we had. You know, your boiler's busted. That's it. You know, an overwhelming thing, and it can be from anywhere. You know, it just comes out in different ways. And I've seen people like us, you know, just give up. Fuck, I've been like us at times. Just don't give a shit. You know what I mean? We've all had the dare to of it, but I've seen people just that's it. They just don't care. Like I said, I've known people that just go on, and that's it. God, my mum was even like that. She didn't care.
Yeah, everyone.
You know what I mean? It was
everyone goes through it sooner or later.
Coaxing and stuff to get my mum out of the house. You know, and then when she was out, she enjoyed herself. But it was all the coaxing and stuff you had to do. Yeah, it was more my niece, my sister took over from that, you know, when I moved away. But still, it's her. I know what it's like. I would not say at this stage, unless it's revealed later on in the manga, but I don't believe Hinako's doing this on purpose. She's not an emo chick. I'm not saying that because she would, if I saw that, she would turn me off the character. Does that make sense?
Mm.
If I got sense of like attention seeking emo chick, which would be the Western version. I mean, if this is told Western style, that's what they'd probably make Hinako out to be, and she wouldn't be appealing whatsoever as a character.
But that's just it. The thing is, she just doesn't care. It's like Miko's trying to make her care. Can't. Xiao is trying to like.
But
make her care.
Shari's getting through to her more. And this was the jealousy of Miko initially because she didn't understand what was happening.
Oh yeah, because like,
Shari is closer to the combination lock. Shari is actually getting through to her more and has got more out of her and understood her more. Once again, I'll go back to the bath scene at the basketball weekend. Miko didn't pick up on that at all, even though Mika's been with her for longer and knows her. Shari picked up on that immediately. And Shari's the one that's the monster that doesn't understand humanity. Yet that basic thing of making an excuse so she doesn't want to go to the bath with other girls.
Hinako is her pet.
No, but what I'm saying is that there's people that
because
somebody who's inhumane had more insight.
From what we've learned so far, what is Shuri's goal?
Keep her alive.
She wants the Hinako that she knows back.
Yes, because
she wants the smiling. It's 10 years ago, so she wants, I don't know, the smiling 5-year-old back. She doesn't understand grief or anything like that. She doesn't understand why Himiko just can't like go, oh, do you know what? Let me just flick this switch. There you go. I'm back to how I was. She doesn't understand that.
No, but what I find interesting,
the only way she has found so far to make Hinako smile at her is to promise to kill her.
But even that,
and the thing is that is like the root of a lot of the jealousy that Miko feels, because Miko cannot do that. She cannot give Hinako the one thing that she wants.
But Shuri, this is where the depth of character, you know what I mean? Because it's easy to write Shuri off, but once again, there's lures to this, which is why I'm enjoying this. Because
Shuri is a full-blown 3-dimensional character. She's a very, very complicated character to watch and learn.
Yes,
because she comes across as not giving a shit. She does give a shit, but she only gives a shit about the things that she thinks are important. It's like out of the 3 characters, right? It's like Shuri and Himiko make a good match because they're both as selfish as each other.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They're only interested in one thing. Unfortunately, the thing that they're both interested in is a total cross purpose. Because Shuri wants Hinako to be happy, Hinako wants Shuri to kill her.
But even that, I think, once again, if Hinako really wanted to go, it had been done before Shuri even turned up. It'd be done like that.
Because she's promised the memory of her parents that she wouldn't kill herself, which is why she's suffering. It doesn't all make. It's a great story. It doesn't all make sense. It's like because it's all because of this weird, corrupted, warped honor system. It's like she thought she heard her dying parent tell her that she needed to live. Because of that, she needs to live, even if she doesn't want to. The moment when she realizes that the voice she heard wasn't her parent, she throws herself into the ocean so that a yokai so that some hand with a mouth in the center of its palm can kill her.
But I think that was the moment that unlocked things. Because when she, if you go past that point, like going through the crucible.
But think about it. What stops? The thing that stops her from killing herself is the conversation between her and Shuri, in which Shuri promises Hinako that she will kill her. So the thing that stops her from wanting to kill herself is the promise that she's going to be killed.
But even the last episode, it's more to. I think there's more to it than that.
The horror in this just keeps going round and round, and the more you think about it, the worse it gets.
Because once again, if she was going to do it, like, she wouldn't wait for Shuri to do it now. And it doesn't have to be the ocean, train tracks, bridge, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
but Shuri has promised her that she's going to right. She deep down she wants to be fixed. Yeah.
Yes.
She said that
death as an option. Yeah.
Right. She wants to be fixed. Shuri has promised to fix her. And then the moment she's fixed, she's going to kill her.
Yeah, but she's never going to be the same 5-year-old child again. And in Shuri's mind, that's fixed. But we saw at the end of this, the warmth on the sea floor, that a bit of her came back.
Oh, Shuri just wants us to suffer. Same with Mika. Because surely if you had a friend who was in so much pain that they would say, like, say you have a friend who in an accident has lost both their legs and they're bleeding out. Would you let them suffer, or would you take their life? Terrible example.
No, it's like they're in bits. But then again, I've been to Headley Court and I've seen people going about with, legs missing, but the prosthetics are amazing and they're living, laughing and smiling and joking and stuff. So in that moment, more complicated than that. Do you know what I mean?
It's a very complicated question. I've put it down to a yes or no answer, which is impossible to answer.
You can't, because it's amazing what you can come back from.
Yeah, but what if they don't want to come back from that?
Well, that's on them. Do you know what I mean? But you don't make that choice for them. Because once again, there's a lot of double speak.
Not even if they beg.
No, because it might. Once again,
which is right. So it's not your decision to make. But when they ask you to do it, doing as they say isn't your decision. Isn't your decision either, because you know what? Fuck your friendship with them. What you want is more important. Which is how it comes across from Shuri and Mika.
How many times have you seen just scenes in movies and stuff where somebody is about to jump and stuff, and then when it comes to it, they actually shit themselves and they want to live? Right at that last moment. That last moment.
I part of me believes that Hinako's that kind of person.
I almost was so about it when she actually did commit herself and threw herself into the ocean, and when she came back.
It's like also you can say the bit with the bit where the Utakiona Hayame attacks her with the axe. She raises her arms up in defense, but doesn't understand why she's done it.
But that's what I mean. That's at the moment you don't know. So if you make that decision, don't forget, like we're all complicated. We may say things out of this, but what's up here is completely different. I think we know that. And a cry for help comes out in many different ways. But if you make that decision unilaterally, thinking you know best, you've taken that decision out of the other person's hands. Now, if somebody does it themselves, that's on. I mean, they've done it. And I know people that have racked their brains. Oh, if only I'd rung them at this time and that time. But like I said, I've known people that they have been there at the time and still the person did it. So maybe I've just got a unique perspective on it. And
see, the conversations you can have with Sunny far too.
like Hinako, she basically wants permission to live. And by having Shuri promise, she's almost given her permission to live until Shuri changes her mind. And there's a bit of a play in that in the last episode, you know, like the understanding and stuff, and I am the monster after all. And that's comfortable, you know what I mean? In her psyche, Shuri being the monster, the inhuman monster who doesn't care, who's not trying, is a comfortable thing. And it's like I said, there's more to this than if you just did it in the surface level, yeah. But this story isn't told like that at all.
Oh, it's a very like
Mm.
it's a simple story, but it's very, very complicated beneath the water.
Oh yeah, because it's all double.
It's a very polarizing story because of the way people view it.
But that's once again, like we're sitting here with. I think we've got a point where we're together and then we've verged apart because of our life experiences and what we. And this is morality, isn't it? This is your personal morality. This is your. I would do this, but I wouldn't. You know, blah blah blah, and that's perfectly fine. That's what makes us interesting as people.
So it was like right. Hinako, as much as she says she wants to die, will never die because she's got people watching over her.
But she's also spent days at home while the other two went to school. And they didn't go around until after school.
See,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it bugs me that now she realizes that her the things that her parents, the things that like her parents said are like not the things her parents said anymore.
But
all the reasons she had for not taking her own life have gone. Now she's relying on other people to tell her she can't die as an excuse not to die.
Her life has been survivor's guilt. And I don't know if you've come across that or people that have suffered it.
I'm not very good at. I've got to be honest. I'm not very good at doing guilt.
So let me give an example of, you know, because I don't have any personal ones because I've not been in that. But somebody's on patrol. They go to a checkpoint to do their 520s, right? Didn't see anything. Step forward. Next thing, an IED goes off, and half a section's taken out. And that person, just by stepping forward to not even a meter, right? They missed the blast. And they're then spend years torturing themselves. Well, did I not see it? Did I not carry out my drills? Why is everyone else dead? Why am I alive? And usually, as an adult, it usually turns into drinking and, you know, violence and, you know, just completely beating themselves up. Why did I live? What did I do wrong? Or what did I do right? Or did I do my mates because I didn't see it? Or, you know, all these thoughts. And it comes out, you know, they'll just go over the same event over and over and over again. See,
for me, that's luck, plain and simple.
No, but
if they were meant to have died, then they would have.
No, but it's more, like I said, survivor's guilt doesn't. Do you think negative emotions are logical? Do you think beating yourself up with guilt or punishing yourself is a logical?
They're part of the human psyche. You show me one person who sometime in their life hasn't beaten themselves up because they feel bad about what's happened.
Fuck, I've done it over loads of things. You know what I mean? Still do sometimes. I play back events in my head. You know, still beat myself up.
That's just a part of who we are, being because we are complex creatures.
But do you remember what I said about at the beginning of this about the uncurring nature of the universe, the fact that just life is random and
Oh,
humanity can't deal with that? That I gave the whole example of parachutes and tripping on curbs and like it doesn't matter how you drive, you could do everything 100% right and that thing goes wrong, and we cannot as humans comprehend that. I mean that's what this all boils down. This is an exploration of that.
Mm.
And I think it's been done very well because it's not trying to answer anything. It's just exploring the feelings and emotions and what's presented on the surface versus what's actually bubbling underneath and how you can hide it for so long. But it takes somebody to have like proper insight. Mika thought she had it sorted out, but she realized when Shuri appeared how much she didn't have a clue. And she thinks she understands humanity. She keeps mentioning it, but Shuri very clearly states she does not understand humanity. Yet she has more insight into Hinigo, and that, you know what I mean? All these things, what you think you know, getting turned on upside in your head is your whole universe. Like Hinigo as a 6-year-old had a perfect, in her mind as a child, life was perfect. Now, did her parents have to work? Did her father not have to work long hours? Did they have this conversations about bills? Can they afford the holiday this year? Stuff. Absolutely. But in the mind of a 6-year-old, that was never a thing. That wasn't her reality was bliss and happiness, and that was torn away. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
That's having your perception of life and the world around you just ripped up from under you. Miko
Is him
had her perception.
is Himiko still viewing the world through the eyes of a 60-year-old who's lost her
Could be
parents?
because she hasn't had a gradual uh, adulthood slapped her in the face. Her world was pulled from under her. So that's, what do you do with that? And I'm no psychologist, but still, you can see it. Somebody's had their whole world ripped apart. And once again, friends I grew up with, their mother decided didn't want to be here anymore. What was it? We were about 7 or 8 when that happened. They used to stay down in their house and stuff, go down, knew them. Next thing you know, boom, gone. No indication. They were twins. And it wasn't an abusive household, no indication, you know what I mean? No indication of that sort of happening at all. Then she went. Took years to get over that. That ripped their entire world apart. Why did mommy do that? Fuck, I haven't thought about that one in a long time. Holy shit.
Anime is bad for you. It brings up all these thoughts.
No, do you know what I mean? I'm just thinking now, when you try to understand, you can't.
Mm.
That was one of my earliest. Yeah, fucking 7 or 8 years old. That was one of my earliest encounter. Yeah, one of my earliest encounters with that. Obviously, I have to watch what I say because YouTube fucking has a hissy fit if you say certain words and stuff.
Yes, this is true.
And this conversation is getting a bit fucking heavy. Do you know what I mean?
Because I've mentioned the S word at least twice. I've mentioned the S word at least twice. I hope you don't get demonetized.
But this is what art does, right? It provokes thoughts, it provokes conversation. This is what the purpose of it is, and the whole purpose of horror is it doesn't shy away from it, and it makes you have the conversation. And if this helps someone understand that the world's fucked and things happen and it's out of your control and there's loads of ways people deal with this, there's all sorts of things, then I don't feel it. I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong here having this conversation. I don't feel like we're doing anything wrong.
Totally not.
And
It's like this is why anime is worth talking. Right. I'll go back to something I've said a million times a lot. Can you imagine this story being created in the West?
no, it'd be on the knuckle, it would be lesbian undershaves. It would be fucking emo attention seeker. It would be crap because the West has once upon a time there might have been this would have been a great indie movie,
They they
but
would do to
we have
this.
lost the art of storytelling. That's
They
what's
would
killing
do
us.
to this what they did to Death Note. They'd strip it of. You can't even say strip it back to its core. Like they strip it back to its core essentials, where the only thing that will be left, like in Death Note, where the only thing that is left is the actual like book itself.
Hmm.
The only thing will be left in this is the fact that there's an unhappy girl.
Yep.
And she'd probably end the film like there'd probably be like this really poignant scene where she throws herself under a bus or something, and then they'd be all her friends sitting around crying.
Yeah, this is more than that. This is actually this is being morally ambiguous because straight away from both we've had different life experiences.
Mm.
So we therefore I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Never do that.
as far as life
That's not
experiences
the
go,
point.
there's only one life experience, and that's your personal
Yep.
life experience. Because you can't. I don't think, no matter how much you talk about it, I do not think that a person can be talked to the point where they will understand exactly where another person is coming from in their life
course not.
experience,
Of
simply
course not.
because everyone's life experience is unique to them.
Yep. And if we had say Chris jumped in here or Dale or Cameron, or I mean anybody else jumped in here and carried on the
Mm.
joined in the conversation, they'd have a I mean everyone has a unique way to look at it.
Yeah,
We can broadly
right.
agree maybe in some points, but when it gets down to nitty gritty, which is what we're doing here, this is where we diverge, which is interesting. That because of our own personal lenses, we're seeing different things, but that's fucking amazing storytelling that allows you, it gives you room to do that. That's what I think we could both agree on that this level of
Oh,
storytelling
definitely.
gives us all, and you can get something out of it. And I hope we can get something positive out of it, even if it's just recognizing those tendencies within yourself. Because it deals with hubris as well. This is, it deals with arrogance and thinking you have it all sorted, and it turns out we don't.
A story like this needs humor.
Oh yeah, and that's with the random anime stuff and Miko doing the, it pops up. It's the break because this is
Like
fucking dark.
the little scats between like Miko and Shiori, where they shrink the characters down into like the really cartoony, cute little chibi forms, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't see it like that. Well, you should have done."
Yeah, because this is heavy. This is a heavy series.
Because
No doubt about it.
because remember, and I have said this about so many anime before. At its heart, this is a children's cartoon.
But
This is like the anime, like the manga, is aimed for girls between the age of 9 and 16.
and what did we both
I'm a
identify?
55-year-old bloke. There are scenes in this anime that I absolutely blubbed at.
I'm 49 and same, you know what I mean? I'm getting stuff, I get stuff from this that makes me think. And I'm going through my own life, my own experiences and stuff. And but what was I going to say? What's the problem in Japan from the 9 to 15-year-old girls? What do they keep doing to themselves? What's not healthy for society if you haven't even started out in life and you're removing yourself from it? So the sledgehammer doesn't work, which is actually Shuri represents the initial sledgehammer. You
You're
will
going to be
live because I
happy.
want you to.
Yeah.
You'll be
You are
happy
going to
because I tell you to.
you are going to live a long life and be happy, Hinako, because I say so.
Yeah. That's like a parent going, you will stop feeling like us, or somebody older just not getting it. And even Shuri has to realize, oh shit, I'm actually doing the opposite. So there's even an explanation like, oh, your guardians are telling you they're coming across this way because they don't understand. Like they're even saying like she's using it in the broader context of don't understand humanity. But what they're basically, if it's been targeted that demographic specifically, I'm not going to know what a 9 to 15-year-old girl understands or thinks, so I'm not going to be able to talk to a 9 to a 15-year-old girl about this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not, you know what I mean? It's not even remotely that sort of conversation. And I think it's almost subtly trying to explain, yeah, they don't understand, but it's not their fault. They can't, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean they hate you or don't want the best for you. Like there's that whole other lad. You could have that conversation as well from a series if you want to go at it from that lens of who it's aimed for.
There are so many different messages you can take from so many different angles in this.
But the underlying thing is saying is don't do it. Step off from the ledge because it's not forever. You know what I mean? If you eventually things get better, you can be
think about looking at it this way, yeah. Who's the main character who's stopping Hinako from moving forward?
Hinako
herself.
100%. And what we've got are two people that don't understand, you know what I mean, are trying different tactics and that.
Because Miko is quite happy to let herself continue that way as long as she doesn't get any worse.
Mm-hmm. But Shuri appears...
Shuri is just kind of like trying to bully her way through.
Yeah.
I do like Shuri's character. I think Shuri's character is awesome.
But have you noticed that even Miko's like, right, used to go out somewhere because I need, because she ends up like almost mother hen in both of them because she's like, oh, that's hard work. And then Miko or Himiko's even going, right, used to go out together because it's just the three of them together is just too intense that they're all trying different things. So that actually the understanding between Miko and Shuri and that, and they're all trying to understand each other. That's what happens in the real world.
I like the fact that Miko and Shuri are like really good friends, but they haven't quite worked it out yet.
No, but they're on the path. But I think one thing we can say about this series is, I think you can agree with me, it's saying, because I obviously want to wrap this up, it's telling you don't do it. No. That's the message of this series. Don't do it. You do have a reason to live. It mightn't feel like it, but you have a reason to carry on. Yes, the pain never goes away, the guilt never goes away, but it does dull. And you have,
like things will get better because I say so.
But also, you could be the one talking someone else down off the ledge who's having a moment of madness. Because you've been through this, you're the one that could end up talking the next person down. It might not just be about you. You could be that person. You know what I mean? It's all... You do not know where you're going to end up in life. You do not know where the universe is going to take you. You can take your... you can forge your path to a certain point, but one random act.
There are no guidelines. There are no instructions. There's no safety manual.
Which is what I struggle with. Honestly, I struggled. See, my childhood, right up to my early 20s, that was a concept I struggled with, that there was no instruction manual. I was looking for a mentor. I wanted somebody, right, how do I do this thing called life? And then I learned the hard way that there is no, you just have to take each bit and figure it out.
But how do you do this thing called life? Well, unfortunately, for the first 80-odd years of it, it's guesswork. Because after the first 80-odd years, you're probably too knackered to care.
Yeah, and after that, you just...
After that, you just like sit in a chair and drink copious amounts of tea. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's like that's just it. There is no right way to life. Somebody needs to create an anime about that. Actually, no. My Eternity might be that anime.
Yeah.
No, but it's not hot, so I can't recommend it. Seriously, if you ever feel like watching an anime, if they've just finished, there's 3 series of it, My Eternity. It is,
This,
however, each individual series is a 3 box of tissue series.
all right.
And if you blow your tear ducts out watching it, I'm not taking the blame. My Eternity.
But yeah, there you go. That was deep. That took us to places that I didn't think we were going to go. But it's sort of the underlying theme of this.
But this is what movies. This is what like movies and television series used to do, though.
Mm-hmm.
They used to take you to places where you didn't want to go. They made you ask questions. They made you remember things before it just turned down this shitty little ankle deep, weak ass, limpid, lukewarm pool of crap that they call movies today.
Yep. No, this is and this has only come out as well last year, so this is still being made.
I totally.
Chris asked that. Was there a difference
If-
between like I think he was basically comparing it to the dramatic shift in Western storytelling, the fact that it's gone.
Yes.
I think we can answer with this one. No, they haven't lost their touch. They're still storytelling. They haven't shied away from being uncomfortable, and we're grateful for that. And that's why manga.
If you'd have read through this, if you'd have like found this on a list and you'd read through the premise of it, would you have watched it?
I've tried an episode, yeah. Because because I'm fascinated by, I love creature features, so mermaids and yokai and monsters. I love my creature features. So even with that, yeah, because the opening premise is, meets a mermaid who promises to eat her. That would be it. Yeah, I'd have been intrigued.
Oh, you really need to find out and watch Mermaid Forest.
Right, I think I'll add that to the list. That'll be another one. Anyway, talking off the list, shall we revisit it because it's been a minute?
Oh my God! It's time to spin the wheel and find out if we can actually find a watchable copy of whatever it says we're watching next.
Yep. Let's have a nosy. Right, hang on. Where's one? There it is. But doink. Give me a wee second. Right. Shall we find out what we're watching next?
Click the button.
Let's do it. Uzumaki, Spiral into Horror.
Uzumaki. Ooh, that was last year as well, I think. Are you a fan of Joji Ito? Are you a fan of Joji Ito?
Oh, Ito? Is that an Ito one? Ito
This is Uzumaki. Uzumaki. This is the one that's based off the works of Joji Ito.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I do. In fact, before we started doing this, I did cover some of Ito's stuff on the channel.
Joji Ito, for people who don't know him, he's a mangaka. He's a creator of manga. He creates the most disturbing horror comics I have ever read. And that's a good thing.
Hot air balloon heads that go around eating people.
Spiral. Oh my God. There's a bit in Spiral where a guy turns into a snail.
Have I covered that?
Spiral is my favorite Joji Ito manga. It's so good.
I think I've covered that. I've definitely covered his short as Tales of Horror or Tales of Terror. Covered those. I've covered a couple of pieces. I've definitely watched them before anyway. Yeah, excellent. Okay, looking forward to that then. It might be a bit later. It might be just proper, just. There's
not going to be mermaids and chronically depressed schoolgirls in it, at least. Well, at least not at the start.
Right. No, we'll just build ourselves up that. So, bit of a palate cleanser after this one because I think I need to. Because
Like something a bit more like, are you you're not insulting this monster wants to eat me, are you? It's like, I've got to be honest. This monster wants to eat me. Out of all the various horror anime that have come out in the last 5 or 6 years, this is my favorite because in a lot of horror, the horror is like creature driven. In this, the horror is character driven.
mm-hmm.
Because the actual monsters themselves aren't as monstrous as the inside of their own minds, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and
watch it.
Yeah, this is definitely worth the watch, and plus it answers the question. Like I said, anime has not diluted itself. It has not apologized. It's carried on, and we're still getting the same level of storytelling. So yeah,
Right,
that's fantastic.
there was this is kind of unrelated to horror, but it's related to anime. There was the Japanese Minister for Culture, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
On television during a televised meeting of the American Diet, the American government stood up on television and said that no matter what the West says, America is not going to tailor its culture and its entertainment media for them. So many people are trying to get this taken out of anime and this taken out of manga and that taken out of Japanese television and this, that, and the other, and they don't like the fact that this is represented in one way, something else is represented in a way that they don't necessarily agree with because there's an exclamation mark in the wrong place or something like that.
Well, there's an easy answer, isn't there?
Yeah. Because here is the thing, right? Anime produced in Japan, yeah, is not produced for the West.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's back to what's the name, whatever a name said about Captain Marvel. This isn't made for you.
Oh, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my books.
This is made for completely.
Oh, Brie Larson, that idiot. Yep. Oh, this isn't made for you.
I could not remember their names. This is like anime, manga, all things like that. It isn't made for the West. It's made for a completely different country with a vastly different culture.
Yeah, and if you don't like that, well, don't watch it.
And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
But I don't
Standing ovation.
I don't buy into another cultures. I don't pick up their art or their creations without appreciating their culture.
That's it.
Do you know
It's
what I mean?
like,
I'm not picking up. Well, then it's different. We're British, so we have a different mindset about it.
Yeah, right. Going back to the Uzumaki. Judge Ito's horror is completely different from anything you will find in the West. Completely different. It's kind of like the closest. It's kind of like it's kind of existential. It's almost Lovecraftian, but if Lovecraft is actually capable of writing a story. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love the words of H.P. Lovecraft, but I tag H.P. Lovecraft up there with J.R.R. Tolkien. He had a brilliant story. He didn't necessarily have the skill to put it on paper.
Oh, he wrote for magazines.
During his life, he only actually managed to publish a couple of works under his most name. Most of the early Lovecraft stuff was sent to magazines by his friend August Delath.
Mm-hmm.
So
after he died, carried on his legacy, and brought him to.
Yeah. So after he died, August Delath is the person who pushed Lovecraft forward. It's like if it wasn't for August Delath, Lovecraft would have died an unknown, which I think would have been a shame because, like I say, some of the ideas in his stories are absolutely brilliant. Amazing imagination. Amazing mind. I apologize if people are offended by this.
It's like Frank Herbert.
Not the best writer.
No, it's like Frank Herbert, the
Mm.
Dune series.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic,
Like,
concept
like,
ideas, just the story.
Yeah, God, I loved you. I love the Lord of the Rings, but my copy of the Lord of the Rings has got 1,000,001 post-it notes of the bits that you can skip and not lose any of the story. If you take all the bits that aren't necessary out of the story, you end up with a book that's only slightly thicker than The Hobbit. I kind of wish they'd do that. I kind of wish they'd do like an abridged version of the Lord of the Rings, which is just the story. Because I don't need to know the name of Aragorn's first uncle's second cousin brother's dog.
Mm-hmm.
But
there you go.
I mean, sorry.
That's the way people. That's the way people tell. The fact they put it out there, we can nitpick it, but they did it. We didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
there you go.
I'm a terrible story writer, but I'm quite good at writing role-playing adventures.
I need to get my arse in gear and write some more. I'm falling behind. This bloody podcast taking over my life. That's why.
Actually, you need the free time first.
Yeah, that's it. Everything's a trade-off. Get back in again. But anyway, there you go. There's another one. I just want to say thanks for everybody for tuning in. Great discussion as always. Just leaves me to say, until next time, keep up to date with the channel, do the typical things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.